This video response is going to go out to the outspoken. And I'm going to start this by saying to you, whoever you are, I want you to go ahead right now, get your mother, put her in front of this, and let her watch with you. And I have good reason to say this, and I'll be happy to wait. Go ahead, pause the video. I'll wait. Oh, hi. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Ted the Speed Learner, and this is what your child has written to me. Okay? Ready? Dude, shut up. Not cool. How in the blankety blank do you know whether he was educated or not? Yeah, he dropped out. Big deal. My mom dropped out of high school. She tried going to college but couldn't because she had 3 kids to take care of alone. Does that make her not as smart as you? No, she is brilliant. The reason why I can go through school with ease is because of her. What you just basically said was, people who drop out don't have the credentials to be smart enough to voice an opinion. Moving on to that subject, I admire you for voicing your opinion as well. Everyone deserves on, no matter how or where they were raised and where they went to school or learned. Thank you for voicing your opinion. It takes courage, but I don't want to listen to your responses. Well, you're going to listen to this one. Okay. How do I know that Jeff Bliss was not educated? This is how I'm going to tell you. I know about old Roman forums. I know about debate clubs, both of which I think you should research before giving me another response. Okay? If you're going to make a formal presentation in a Roman forum or in a debate club, you've got to have some credentials, or otherwise people are going to laugh you off like a fool and throw you in the trash. You want proof of this? Okay, let's take a hypothetical example, shall we? There was a man once by the name of Chef Boyardee. Okay, you see his cans all the time. But the thing is that the spelling on the cans is not the real spelling of his name. You say, what? That's true. His name was really spelled B-O-I-A-R-D-I, which is an Italian name. He was an Italian immigrant. Okay? He came to the United States, he became a cook, and that's when he started with his dishes that you now get in cans. Okay? He deliberately had his name misspelled on the cans because he was afraid that people would mispronounce his name or not even know how to pronounce his name. It was an advertising gimmick. So he deliberately, phonetically spelled his name so that people would remember how to say it correctly. And it worked. That's a brilliant man. Now, there are thousands of Italian immigrants that have come to the United States that have the same cooking credentials as Chef Boyardee did when he was alive. They run Italian restaurants from the East Coast to the West Coast, all the way through the Midwest. And all you have to do is do a little research and you'll find them. Many of these cooks, okay, many of these chefs, have had 20 years experience cooking Italian food. A lot of them have very good reputations. Now let's say hypothetically that some patron of that kind of a restaurant walked in, and this patron had zero culinary experience whatsoever. And then suddenly this patron goes and storms into this Italian chef's kitchen and starts telling the Italian chef how to cook his food. Do you know what would happen to that patron? The other patrons of the restaurant would probably laugh him off. And then the Italian chef would get his security guards and have that patron thrown out of his restaurant. And he probably wouldn't be welcome back. It's all about credentials. Okay. Now then, based on what little evidence I have of you, I can make some assessment about how smart your mother is. Okay? Obviously, you don't exactly have the best grammar in the world, but it's not too bad. It is readable, and I can say it's better grammar than what I've had to deal with a lot of times with other people. So I have a little more respect for you than I do for some of the people that reply to my videos. That's why I went to all the trouble to give a reply like this to you. Now then, okay, so your mother dropped out of high school. She tried to go to college, and she couldn't afford the time because she was raising 3 kids alone. This tells me one thing about your mother. Right now, she has better credentials in deciding who is a good babysitter and a bad babysitter than I do. Why? Because she has raised 3 kids successfully, apparently. At least I know she raised 1 good kid because I'm seeing that in you. Alright? So, I know that because she has raised 3 kids, I haven't raised any kids, and no, I have not gone to the great big trouble of reading every child-rearing book in the United States. I probably should, and I probably should present that here on YouTube. Okay? If I had done either of those things, I would say, okay, I have just as many credentials as she does. But I haven't, so therefore, in that respect, she does beat my credentials. But then, you go on to say, does that make her not as smart as you? No, she is brilliant. Okay. I'd like to see her try to teach you how to speak, read, and write Italian. I would like to see her put a computer together piece by piece. Installing all the software, hooking up all the computer components, whole 9 yards, building it from front to back, including mounting a motherboard. I would like to see her write a fully successful COBOL program, or a Visual Basic program, or a high-level HTML program that draws from a database. I like to see her do. I would like for her to get on YouTube and explain the subtle nuances of an IP address. I would like for her to make a formal presentation on how to read accounting records. Do you understand the importance of credentials now? I don't think your mother can do any of those things. I don't even think that she has taken the literal step-by-step approach to reading every single page of the healthcare law and making formal presentations on YouTube like I have. I've made over 60 videos on the healthcare law. I know a little bit more about it than she does. I guarantee it. This is what we're talking about, credentials. Had Jeff Bliss been really smart, he would have gone out to the internet and done what I'm going to do myself. Researched packets, find out the good and the bad about high school packets like that, and make a formal presentation in showing all the negative things about high school packets. I'm going to do that. Just for you and for my YouTube audience. I'm going to do the job that Jeff Bliss should have done. Okay? And the thing is that if Jeff Bliss had really been smart, he would have understood that he was speaking in a classroom, not an official Roman forum. That's the difference. He had no credentials, and he was not speaking in an open forum. He was speaking in a closed classroom. Big difference. See what I mean? Now, I had already made a response to Sammy Lay and another kid, Flower Child. That was who it was, Flower Child. I made a response to him as well. Flower Child was given this, oh, woe is me. I told my teacher that a square was not a form of a trapezoid. He was using a modern-day textbook, which I'm going to make a presentation now showing that modern-day textbooks should not be used as credentials in debating a case. I told him that he should have consulted with Euclid's Elements. Euclid's material has been used in classrooms all over the world for the last 1,000 years. Those are pretty tough credentials to beat. Had he used that, his teacher would have listened to him. And if she didn't, she would have been shown as the fool that she was. See what I mean? It is all about credentials. So before you respond to me again, go out there, learn everything you can about Roman forums, learn everything you can about debate clubs, and learn about credentials. When you do, you will begin to understand what I'm trying to tell you. I didn't think after making that video response to Samuel A. I would have to make this video response to you. But apparently I do. And if you want further examples of how my responses are better than Jeff Bliss, try this on for size. I challenged Beauty Crush and won. Why? Because I knew about social anxiety disorder, which she did not know anything about. I researched it, made a formal presentation, and challenged her and told her that before she goes speaking about shyness again, she better be speaking about social anxiety disorder and being able to distinguish between ordinary shyness and social anxiety disorder. When I challenged Copper Cab, I made a presentation, and you can see this. It's real easy to find. I made a presentation that said that Warren G. Harding, one of our presidents of the United States, who stood there in the 1920s and gave the dedication speech to the Lincoln Memorial. Yes, that Lincoln Memorial that just got all its green paint on there. Okay? That Lincoln Memorial. Yes, that same Warren G. Harding that made that dedication speech to that Lincoln Memorial was the same Warren G. Harding that got knighted as a member of the Ku Klux Klan in the White House. Probably in the Oval Office. What does that say? That says that Warren G. Harding should have never made that dedication speech. He was not qualified to make that dedication speech because he didn't have the same belief system as Abraham Lincoln. That was a disgrace to our country. And that's how I challenged Copper Cab. You see what I mean? Those are my credentials. I'm a speed reader, a memory expert. I know how to program in COBOL because I have a certificate from a technical institute that says, after 2 years, I know how to program in COBOL. Now, what does that involve? That involves excellent grammar skills. That involves analytical skills. That involves programming skills. All that combined is in there. So I am not some ordinary IT hack. I am a level 1 data processor. And a pretty darn good researcher to boot. That's what you're dealing with. You're way out of your league on this one. So, before you respond to me again, read up on the Roman forums, read up on debate clubs, read up on credentials, and see for yourself why I said what I said about Jeff Bliss. Jeff Bliss is not a hero. He's a disgrace. And I think I have proven my case perfectly. Now, that does not mean that I don't agree with his viewpoint. I agree with him that the school system is broke, but I have the academics to back it up. He does not. And until he does, as a matter of fact, one of my commenters got on here and said, well, he lives in a free country. He is a citizen of the United States, so he can say whatever he wants. That's not true. That's a complete ignorance of the Constitution. Let me tell you something. If that were the case, then if he was truly a U.S. citizen like he says he is, like they say he is, he could run as a member of the United States House of Representatives. He could run for the United States Senate. He could run for president. He could even, as a U.S. citizen, drink and smoke. But until he turned 18, he could do none of these things. As a matter of fact, his parents could control his speech until he turns 18. Don't believe me? Research it for yourself. He didn't have the right to do what he did until he turned 18. And even then, he did not have the credentials to back himself up. That's academia. Welcome to academia. Now, I will say one final thing and then I'll go. Why do I put up video responses like this? It is the only effective means that I have found to test people and their intelligence. And I have to say, even though I still don't think you have quite reached my level. I will have to say that your comment was a little more intelligent than what I've been getting lately. That's why I took the time to go and respond to you. Otherwise, I would have just snuffed you off. So, I invite you to challenge me. Go out there, learn about the Roman forums, learn about the debate clubs, learn about the packets. Watch my presentation on bad modern textbooks. Watch my presentation on high school packets. And grow from this experience. This whole video has been a challenge to you to make you a better academic person. And if you want me to say one thing to your mother, I would say this. Maybe she'll take this as a challenge to watch my videos, to learn how to speed read, to learn how to memorize things quickly, and then going out the extra effort of learning all the material that I have on this YouTube channel. Why should she do this? Because we got a health care law that's coming into this country she needs to know about. Because they are still plotting and planning on making us invest our Social Security money into the stock market. If we have to start doing that, we're going to have to be able to read the accounting records of all those major corporations. You like that one? We're going to have to get smarter, and we're going to have to do it faster. Our lives are starting to depend on it now. That's why. Hopefully you found this road to academia quite profitable. If not, I'm sorry. But at least now you know what's really going on, and you truly, hopefully, will understand why I did what I did. Now, I do have a very nasty habit of babbling, but I think I have brought up a lot of great points, and I think your mom will acknowledge that I have brought up a lot of great points. If she is as educated as you say she is, then she will agree with almost everything I just said. So, before I go into another rambling session, I think I'm going to cut off the video from here. If after you do all your research you want to go ahead and give me a response, you are more than welcome to. As a matter of fact, I encourage you to. Maybe with this new understanding, you'll have a far different response to everything I'm doing. Only time will tell that one. Alright, well, hopefully I will not have to talk about this subject anymore. If I do, I will do it. But anyway, I will tell you more in a future video, so stay tuned.